One of my favorite games last year was Rhythm Final Fantasy. It was really nostalgic to hear all the great music and all this awesome, stuff that I came to miss from Square Enix. Back when they were SquareSoft, they produced some of my favorite games. I used to play Final Fantasy VI until my eyeballs were about to bleed. I mean, I loved that game so much, and Chrono Trigger stole so many hours of my childhood. I mean, I can't say stole. I mean, it really just I loved it. I loved every minute. And as I got older, Final Fantasy Tactics was a huge game for me. Final Fantasy 9, and then toward the 2000 era, Square produced Final Fantasy 10, which I thought was okay. I played Final Fantasy 12, not a great game, but okay, good enough. And then there was some decent games here and there. And after Square merged with Enix, makers of Dragon Quest, there was still some quality games coming out. I felt like the Dragon Quest 8 game and Dragon Quest 9 for the DS, really fantastic games. But these days, I just have to question, what are they doing? A lot of people were really anticipating Final Fantasy Type 0, the PSP Final Fantasy game. It came out in Japan a few years ago now, and it was a huge hit, and people really were excited to see this fresh direction for the Final Fantasy series. It had like a kind of a unique style, and the characters were organized into like a magic school, and they were fighting in like a massive war. Everything I've seen from the game, the trailers, the music, the character designs, everything looks amazing. And for some reason, this game is not in America. Actually, it has not been released in any English-speaking territories. Just Japan. I've heard many rumors that the game is very hard to translate, that because there's a lot of like Confucianism or some type of kind of Asian philosophies that may be hard to translate directly into English. And I've also heard PSP piracy cited as a reason that they want to, not even attempt to release it in the West because it will just be downloaded illegally. However, I think Square Enix is just, I think they're just bullshitting around on this one. I mean, if they really wanted to release it, they could just do an HD, port to the PS3, or just do a direct translation. People aren't going to be that concerned about if it makes sense in every area. I mean, people, they used to play games in complete English, from the NES era and even the Super Nintendo era. There were games where you couldn't even understand what the hell was going on sometimes, but they were still great games. I mean, a great translation is, awesome, but even if it's not, I just want to play this game like many people do. And also, recently, just the audacity of some of the prices of DLC and some of their ports to Apple and Android systems are ridiculous. Rhythm Final Fantasy, for example, came out for the iPad, iPod, iPhone, you name it, recently. But to get all the DLC, you will have to pay an incredible amount of money, upwards of around, I think, maybe $150 if you want every song and every character. As where you can buy the 3DS port for about $29.99 on Amazon. So I think it's common sense that you would want to buy the 3DS port. But unfortunately, they added new music and new characters that people really were anticipating for the 3DS port. But they have no plans, it seems like, to bring this to the 3DS. So the pricing, $29.99 for Final Fantasy 3 for the iPad. I mean, come on, get real, Square Enix. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think they have the highest prices of any game publisher on the Apple Store. I mean, they must have some real arrogance about what they're releasing. These are 30, like maybe 25-year-old games that sometimes they do a little HD polish on. Maybe they are a 3DS port or Game Boy Advance port they just rushed out to put on these systems. I mean, it's a little ridiculous that they expect so much. And then they get angry at fans when they don't buy these reissues, like Chrono Trigger on DS. The president of Square Enix said if people wanted to see Chrono Trigger 2, they should have bought Chrono Trigger. Even though they barely added any new content, the game wasn't released on DS with just a bare minimal work. And these days, Bravely Default, one of the hottest selling Japanese 3DS games, has no announcements for an English localization. Square Enix has been very quiet about this. They released a few days ago Final Fantasy All the Bravest or something like that, which people, when they saw the copyright for All the Bravest, they thought, oh, this has to be the translation of Bravely Default. But no. Some awesome trolling from the PR department of Square Enix. So basically, this game is seemingly going to be lost to all foreign players because the 3DS is region locked. So you can't even import this if you want to. It's impossible. And lastly, I just have to bring up Final Fantasy 13, the Lightning Saga. Who the hell asked for a saga about lightning? I don't think any fan raised their hand and said, please, I would like to see more of Lightning's story. Who wanted that? Nobody wanted that. So I have to question who's making all the decisions about this. Is it Tetsuya Nomura? I mean, I know he made a big hit with Final Fantasy VII back in 1997, but wow, it's been a long time since then. I know Kingdom Hearts is awesome, and he's good at what he does, making these ultra feminine guy characters with belt buckles everywhere. That's cool for some people, but I want to see a different direction for Final Fantasy. I'm tired of that. And Lightning, I think she's a boring character. I'm tired of her. I can't contain how much anger I have about this Lightning Saga continuing. Where is Final Fantasy Versus 13? That was announced in 2006 or something. I mean, come on, give me a break. I just had to express my fury with Square Enix a little bit. I know they probably won't watch any videos on YouTube. They even disable comments on their own videos because they know how much negative hate they would get from the fans. So anyway, I hope one day they wise up and make some better decisions. Anyway, see you around YouTube. And Square Enix, oh, please change your ways, please.